Awesome. Thank you. Once again, a very good afternoon and warm welcome to everyone here. One of the first CPD topics that we wanted to conduct for the 2026, and nothing better than everything practice management. As you all know that everything practice management covers right from contacts to contacts verification to accounting to matter management. This is a core topic where you get to learn from conflict check to matter management and the areas where you really have to spend time to ensure one is having a 100% due diligence on conflicts, ensuring they are being addressed on day-to-day basis, monthly basis, annual basis, sometimes even quarterly. So we're going to see every single perspective that a paralegal as well as a lawyer needs to be ensuring from a professional obligation standpoint. So here we are today. Mostly our agenda is covered here from client intake, service communication to file management, which is the matter management, financial management, talking about trust, general business management, talking about expenses management, and overall professional time management as well. This, once again, this topic is entitled for 90 minutes of professionalism CPD credits, and I will be sharing the attendance link and the topic information on the chat window for you to be able to claim the credits. So, moving on to client intake service communication, one of the very first basic topics where one has to be focusing on when it comes to compliances and record maintenance and management of client details. It totally depends on definitely the methodology in which one intakes the client, but whichever is the methodology that you're adopting, I would highly recommend you to follow the very basic step of doing a conflict check and recording the details as to how do you proceed with obtaining the retainers or other agreements where you will have to make signatures and ensuring that you collect all the confidential information and retainer deposits, and also ensuring that there is a chance where you have a ghost client, you don't have the client getting back to you, you send them a non-engagement letter, or if, for example, there's someone who has reached out to you, who has taken a few advices, or if I could say a bit of information from your end and has not gotten back to you, sending them a non-engagement letter and ensuring that you have nothing further in relation to them is also one of the important steps. So, very important thing overall when it comes to managing or servicing a client is definitely documentation. Now, that doesn't mean a very old school method of physically documenting anything, but it's up to you. Like it totally depends on every office to office and person to person. Some people like to keep it on cloud. Some people like to keep it on a physical file. Some people like to keep it on their desktops. So whichever is again the method that you adopt, making sure that you have the details and the records from the day one of meeting with them to servicing them throughout, communicating with them, their email correspondences, their letters, agreements, um, every single document that you have signed up with them, ensuring that everything is verified, their IDs, their um, every single detail, making sure that you have a copy and everything is in order and you have a checklist. So um, all of these really matters because you want to ensure that right from day one of any communication with them, you are ensuring to make a note of it and you take the effort to have them on order. So once you have them, you're confident of servicing them and move forward with opening the file. That is the point where you would obviously decide whether you're going to collect a retainer. Some people have trust, some people don't have trust. Again, it depends on the method that you adopted. So following that, if you have trust, you would like to get a retainer, you give them a retainer receipt upon collecting the retainer and you proceed with servicing them, um, which is where you would invoice, you would move the funds from trust to the general, and you would make that money yours. So until then, the money is sitting in the trust, and how do you, safeguard it? How do you ensure to invoice it appropriately? The dates, the amounts matching the transfers, everything important to be in order precisely to say that you follow every single step that Law Society has laid out. Starting off with definitely the retainer agreement, one of the strongest agreements that bind both the client as well as you. The responsibilities laid out from both the sides, nature and scope of the matter of the file, uh, the method of communication, how frequent you would like to communicate with them. Every retainer agreement is different. Every single area of practice or method in which one practices definitely has a very versatile agreement coming into picture. So I always recommend people to have a very precise, but that at the same time, in a very exhaustive manner in which you're ensuring all of these points that you see in front of you are addressed. So once you have the retainer agreement in place and retainer has been collected and the retainer receipt has been provided, you start servicing the client and whether you adopt again a flat rate technique or a billable time, depending upon your area of practice, depending upon your preference, you would go ahead and start docketing them, invoicing them, moving the funds between the trust and general. Um, that's when it comes into picture where there is finances involved, there is numbers involved, ensuring that you have the order in which uh, the payment comes in to the trust, service is done, invoice is raised, funds are moved from trust to the general. And this is where we see many people sometimes, missing out on a few steps. But, you know, software comes into picture. We try to help out. We try to ensure that mistakes are not made. And, we uh, help you out in giving the receipts on time making sure the automations are intact, and you can raise easy invoices, you can raise quick bills, you can ensure that the payments are recorded on time and the transfers are made. Then you have Form 9As if you're in Ontario, and electronically funds are transferred. So every single piece of paper records are maintained, checklists are maintained. You have a separate file numbers. You have again chronologically secured, organized, and you have all of the client interactions recorded, saved, and throughout you have the details recorded into the books. So which is where financial management comes into picture. Again, financial management is very specific to your area of practice, to your type of practice preferences, where some people have trust, some people have only general, where they would get the money into the general after the file is done, after the service is completed, the invoice is raised, and the money is collected into general. Whereas on the other hand, some people, like I mentioned earlier, would have their trust open, would get the money right at the beginning, even before the file is began, which is what is called as a retainer concept. Money comes into trust, retainer receipt is provided, and then a proper fee scheduling is made at the time the, the retainer agreement is made, and you follow it, and uh, you get the money into the trust, then invoice them, prompt transmission of invoices, delivery of invoices, really important, because the order in which you get the money out uh, has to be ensured by getting the invoices, then getting the invoices to the client, ensuring that they are aware of what are the services provided at that particular time, whether it's an interim service, whether it's a complete service, whether it's an initial service. You ensure to let them know what has been done so far, so that they're aware of all the details. And once you have that out, then you can make the transfer, which is also mentioned on the invoice, obviously, because you're making the transfer, and the receipts are provided for the transfer made, and which is where you get to mention on the invoice that a transfer has been provided from trust to the general. And you also get to provide them with the details such as, let's say, for example, a trustless general ledger, or a settlement statement, or a statement of accounts. All of these documents provide them with the details, additional details of what has happened so far in the file, which will allow them to track the payments if there are any overpayments, underpayments, or the current whatever has been made, records of the general accounts, receipts, and any disbursements entries, etc. So all of these are thoroughly referred by the client as well as by you. So there is no room for any errors, and maintenance of original bank statements along with the checkbooks, cancel checks, making sure that all the deposit slips, financial statements, income expense, discounts, and any other statements that will allow to gauge the firm's health are provided if especially a file is running for more than a quarter. I hope so far so good. And I'm clear. Please do let me know if you all have any difficulty hearing me. Thank you. Request you to give me a minute. Hi, can you hear me now? I'm sorry, I think I muted myself. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're talking about different documents that one has to record at the time of servicing the client, especially the financial documents, starting off with uh, receipts, receipts of retainers, uh, then invoices, then trust transfer receipts, payments from trust to the general made, especially electronically. If you're in Ontario, you're expected to maintain Form 90. So these are some things that you can automatically download if you're a uLaw user. And ledgers, journals, then fee books, reconciliation statements, and more. Now, again, these vary between area of practice to type of you know servicing the clients, or how you would like to maintain these records, but some of them are very basic, and irrespective of how you'd like to practice, they are mandatory, and they fall under the monthly, um, what can I say? Yeah, the monthly comparisons, or the monthly um, compliance documents. So again, if you're a uLaw user, you would find them under accounts compliances, monthly compliances, where you have a bunch of ledgers and, sorry, two ledgers, four journals, and other bunch of documents which has fee book, reconciliation documents, which has both trust, general, credit card. Then we have also payment journals and other things. So again, these vary between your requirements. You might not have trust, but you might definitely have a business general account. So please ensure that you have a software to record all of the expenses, your incomes, your other expenses, which includes both disbursements and office expenses. And the software allows you to do the monthly reconciliations, pulls out the receipts, pulls out the other details, analytics, and helps you to securely manage the files, maintain backups, and most importantly, maintain robust security devices from anywhere at any time. And you're able to remotely access, because I think 25 years ago, people have witnessed, almost 6 years this March, people have witnessed what is the importance of staying on cloud and keeping every single document or information on cloud, because you should be able to remotely access from anywhere, especially post COVID. We've experienced the importance of being able to access anything at any point in time from anywhere in the world. So again, choose a software wisely that will allow you to be on cloud and have all the information handy, secured, maintained with backup, and access to the details at any point in time. Uh, and yes, of course, it has to be a Law Society approved software, ensuring that, because you handle your client's information, confidentiality, and other things. So, as part of it, please make sure that you do your own research to arrive at a software that really uh, backs up all of these, and allows you to primarily service your client and stay compliant with Law Society. So if you ask me, these are the two important things that I would mention for you to be able to choose a software. And as you progress, obviously, you will have to make sure to um, cover every single other requirements like maintaining your CPD hours, maintaining your memberships, maintaining um, the requirements from a standpoint of legal professional, um, ensuring that you're covering all the new legislations, reviewing the code of conduct, and keeping yourself professionally obligated and at the same time personally too. The time management, the satisfaction and the growth. How are you recording them? How are you personally monitoring them? Do you have like a software that tells you how you're doing? Really important at this time for you to be able to understand where you stand as overall, right? And also judge the firm's health and see how you're doing to be able to proceed further. Now, many times we miss to see the big picture, and we're always in the run. We miss out to identify ourselves in the big picture. So this is where a software plays a role in ensuring that it has captured all the data and details from the day one that you have entered it in and provides you with the reports and tells you the growth and satisfaction and overall financial success of your practice, right? So recording every single minute spent and the money come in, go out, and all the reconciliations will tell you how accurate the data is, especially when you are able to, uh, do all of this at your end on your own. If you have a software, crazy, right? So you're not dependent on anyone, but at the same time, you're able to manage your time well and have the work-life balance, which is where we really say that it is important for you to be able to have a software and do it all yourself. So when you choose a software, the very first thing that I would recommend you to keep in mind is to be able to practice from anywhere. The cloud technology really helps you to be able to practice from anywhere, access your files from anywhere, and the total cost of ownership and efficiency in practice is automatic once you start reaping the benefits, especially in taking your clients online and servicing them online and reducing the overall time spent with manual data entry and reducing the human intervention with as much as automated tools that you're using as possible, right? Right. Let's say, for example, you're using automated code forms, automated client intake system, um, compliance management, and more. Um, I'd like to stop here if you have any question for a minute before I proceed with showcasing you all how everything works in uLawPractice. But please do let me know if you have any questions so I can walk you through the same. While we also have a little bit of calendar management and file organizations. When you choose a software, if you can synchronize your calendar with your existing personal calendars with a daily, weekly, monthly view, nothing like that, because you get to have a big picture of what's happening and how would you like to proceed, especially with the matter dockets, showing up the calendar invites, and also showing up the upcoming events, any court hearings, So it is definitely important that you opt for a software that has the calendar synchronization at your end. So um, yeah, I mean, if you have some questions, I definitely would like to walk you all through um, uLaw practice. So welcome to uLaw practice, all of you. Thank you for staying here with us, and give me a second before I can pull up. What you're currently seeing is uLaw's FinSight dashboard. Um, Once you enter into the software, if I could walk you all through every single thing that we've discussed here. Just give me one moment. Starting off with our regular dashboard, you're going to see the FinSight dashboard right on the top. But I think FinSight dashboard will make more sense once I walk you through the method in which you would be recording the details and you know recovering all the documents. Then we can look into the FinSight dashboard towards the end. FinSight dashboard is one of the most newest features of uLaw practice that will showcase where you really are today. Like how much have you made? How much can you make more? If there is any outstandings and more things. So I will look into it before with all of you. Before that, let's quickly go into the actual uLaw practice. The contacts, the quick view, matters, accounts, calendar, and analytics. So once you logged in, the landing page is called the dashboard. You get to see all the recent activities, what is happening in there, like, if there are any outstandings, any billings to be made, any invoices pending where you need to make transfers, and more. So the very first thing that I would recommend someone to do when they have a software is do the conflict check, because you get to know whether you can service a client or not within a minute of adding their details. So this could be done manually, so by clicking on an add new client. This could be done by importing a contact, by simply downloading a client intake form, sending it to your client, asking them to fill it out, sending it back to you, and then uploading the same thing under import contact, where you can see upload the client intake form. And the third and new way in which you could do it is by using the client portal, sending your client a link or a QR code, and asking them to fill out the form at their end and submit it. So I'm just going to do this manually today. Let's say you're also entering in the source of contact, one of the requirements for Law Society compliances. Let's say they've followed you on internet. All their particulars. So once you have the basic information, you could go ahead and save the details. first thing you do is conflict check, which is right away available right under action. So once you have the conflict check out, then you're more confident to proceed or not. So this is the conflict check. I know there's too many in red, but you will have to carefully go through them to ensure there's nothing exactly matching. But if there's anything exactly matching, you'd also double check if the matter, the other client informations are the same, and you want to see if there are exactly any conflict or it's just the name that is similar. So you go over them and you finalize them and proceed further. So once you have this, then you go back into the file, you click on matter, you will create the matter title. Let's say this one is a traffic ticket. You want to put in your area of practice. Especially if you're a paralegal or a lawyer with multiple area of practices, we highly recommend filling out this particular area, field, because later when you're pulling up the revenue report, it'll provide you the revenue made under each and every area of practice that you have serviced in this year or the given period. So that will allow you to understand where you're doing better, where you can do better, or give you your own perspective of what needs to be done further. It's a little bit of glimpse for you to be able to understand where you are really rocking and where you need to put your mind into better or things like that. So yeah, I mean, it's a small field or it's a small action, but it really adds value to your reports. So please do it if you can. And code file numbers, if you have code file numbers, you can put it in there. And matter descriptions are technically used for, um, let's say, sometimes people would like to describe the matter. Sometimes people would like to write their own file numbers over there. So it totally depends on what you want to do. Sometimes people leave it blank. So again, it's something at your discretion. Um, yeah, once you save it, you have a file number that uLaw provides. You can choose to use it. You can also look into it right from the quick view, or you can search by the client's name. You can search by the file number that you remember, your own file number that you've entered, and more. All right, moving on to matters. Starting off with compliances here at the matter level. The very first thing I would obviously download is a file checklist and then a retainer letter. Let's say I'd like to do a elaborate retainer letter to collect a $500. So elaborate is mostly used during billable times. You can also do a flat rate. The options are available right there. Okay. So we have the retainer letter with the letterhead on the top. Our client information goes through there, and whatever rates that you're charging, terms and conditions, and more. So when you go back, you can enter the retainer right under the disbursements retainer with the date, the method in which the payment was made, making sure that all the information, so you can download a receipt by just simply clicking on a receipt button right beside cancel and apply. Okay. So you have the receipt. Go back in, then you kick start with the work. Let's say you had the client meeting, and if you are someone who does billable hours, you record the hours that was exactly spent on the left hand side, which is the duration. Sometimes people would charge the same, so you use the autofill billable. Sometimes people would say they would like to charge a different amount. Like in this case, I would like to wait the first 30 minutes. So I'm going to charge them only 30 minutes out of the 1 hour. So that is called as a billable time. You can use the description box. You can use the mic, speak into it, record it, convert speech to text. You don't have to spend too much time typing. You can use the speech to text option. The AI tools are fabulous. You can use the AI tools to convert notes to summary. You can keep things simple and sweet. Let's say you add more, and then you can say that you would like to do a flat rate. Save it. Now, let's say you have some disbursements. The best part about the disbursement is that you can make the entry into your invoice as well as into your books of accounts at the same time. So you're doing a dual entry, and you're also recording it under your books. So it's going to give you it's going to save you a lot of time and also the accuracy of data. So obviously it's better doing it this way. So let's say you had some admin charges. So you're charging your client $50, but you got charged $20 and tax exempt, but you have to charge them with the taxes, let's say. And then it was direct debit from your bank. So you would say authorized debit or pre-authorized or something. And goes out of your general account. You can say paid to RBC, that was your bank. If you have any reference numbers, say. So far, any questions, please do let me know in the chat window. I'll start taking questions in another 5 minutes. So I request you to please use the chat window at this point to ask more questions. Thank you. So once you've added in the dockets, then the disbursements retainers are in. You can go ahead. Let's say you want to do an interim invoice, or let's say you're done with the file, you do the final invoice, doesn't matter. You just go ahead, click on complete. If you're super confident, you can skip the preview. If you want an eco-friendly version, go over these things. If you think they're marked as paid, completely paid, then you can mark it as paid, or else leave it as it is. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the kind message. Keeps me going for sure. Okay. Yeah. So the invoice technically carries all the docket information with your details, the hours, the flat fee rates, and taxes if applicable. What I really like about the eco-friendly version is it has all the details in one page. Disbursements, retainers, and what more or what is pending, like any amount due. And of course, if you have a law pay or any other payment integration apps with uLaw, then you can use the credit card and use that secured pay option too, and use the credit card and go from there. Let's say over here you first concentrate on moving what is yours. So transfer the money from Trustee General for the invoiced amount, $500, which is available in your trust. Make that yours first by transferring it into your general account. So simply click on question mark, click on transfer, move the funds electronically or whichever is the method that you adopt. First at the bank, then in uLaw, and then uLaw prompts you immediately to download Form 90 because you chose electronic fund transfer and you're in Ontario. That's it. You have it within seconds. You can file it and move on to the next step. You know what I would really recommend is using these document management. Just going to pull up the other documents that we had recorded so far in the last few minutes of servicing this matter. Just have to wind up with one thing here, the $65 that the client has to pay. Send them a payment reminder. You'd like to email yourself and the client, or just email the client, or you can download a copy for yourself. Go back in there, transfer, or get the money into the general. Whatever is the method of payment, please enter the reference numbers. So when you complete these information with appropriate details, When you pull up the reports from the program, it'll help you with accurate information or reports than inaccurate or incomplete reports. So general to trust transfer, right? I was just on a question mark and that had a transfer option available right away. So all that I had to do was just simply click on the transfer, or you could go to the trust transfer from action, then it's a withdrawal from trust. You can do that as well. The other option that I would say is go into the respective tabs, trust or general, then withdraw from trust and do it here. The first and foremost is question mark. It'll be showing up right there. Please continue asking more questions as it'll help us to learn more things. Okay, thank you. Um, yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm going to go into accounts to pull up the final compliance report for this month. Okay, so you can click into clients general risk ledger, do clients trust plus general right under the matters, or you can do separate ledgers. So those are the ledgers. Let's do journal 2. So that's the journal. Now with a journal, it is just that journals tend to have more detailed version because it is for one single type of activity. So when you're choosing a journal, you either choose a receipt journal or a disbursement journal and specific to the bank, whether trust or general. Okay, so you get to see the source of funds. This is what I entered at the receipt stage. And then you get to see the method of payment with the reference numbers. This is for the general receipt journal. And yes, this recording will be available on YouTube probably by, I think, Monday, if I'm not wrong, to wait and check, please. And one other important that I would like to do is expense book. So I didn't record the office expenses today, but if you had recorded office expenses, it would show up here as well. But today I did for one disbursements, which shows up here with the details. The ledger actually shows a bigger picture. So it shows you if it's a receipt or it shows both receipts and payments in one, whether it was a general ledger or a trust ledger based on whether you had raised an invoice and accepted the payments or trust transfer. You get to see both. All right. Any more questions? I'm officially opening the floor for more questions as I'm going to start sharing with all of you the attendance link and other details for today's session. But please do ask more questions so we can see more things and discuss more things. I have 5 more minutes and I'll be more than happy to do this with you all. I hope that this session was helpful and it was informative enough to kickstart the year. We have more new topics actually lined up for this year, and we'll be happy to share the details. How do you reconcile trust? So, trust reconciliation is a lengthy process, of course. In the sense, it's a different seminar altogether. However, I'll just give you a brief idea. Once you are in the software, let's say you've done all of these data entry, then you go on to reconciliation tab, trust reconciliation, and it gives you a little overview of how is it done. You start off with the date. Let's say today we are in Jan. So you have to be reconciling for 31st December. You enter the 31st December date, balance as per the bank. And obviously you would have made the entries for the December month in the program. You go and clear those, you have the dates cleared and then you have the reconciliation. And once the reconciliation button pops up, you can do the reconciliations and download the reconciliation statement. So it's straightforward once you actually make the transactions, enter them. It's just a few seconds or a few minutes. But yes. Any other questions? Anyone? I thank everyone coming in today to attend this webinar. It was really amazing to see such a crowd today. And I'm sorry about the audio issues. We try to figure it out by next week. Uh, Once we have our next seminar topic set, we will be making the announcement on our Instagram page and emails will be sent out. However, we request you to closely follow us on our Instagram and other social medias, LinkedIn and Facebook, so you get uh, more information up to date. And we also keep making other updates. Kindly follow us for more details. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Have a wonderful weekend and see you all soon. Have a good day.